All right, we're live on both platforms, and there's nobody here at the beginning, so we don't need to do anything except for people who replay it. They're going to be watching right now, and
Everyone's
if you
gonna watch this?
are, MoonGoat in the Mail subscriber tasting starts now with Greg. Greg, get in the frame. Greg started with us a couple months ago. He's a coffee taster of sorts, so we'll learn about coffee tastings, but we're here to taste through 4 delicious coffees for our MoonGoat in the Mail subscriber tasting. And these are some awesome coffees with a cool story. We'll taste along with them, give you a scope on it. Our MoonGoat in the Mail membership, Greg, do you know what it is?
I don't. What is it?
Well, you get 4 bags in the mail for $19.
That is the deal.
Shipped.
That's a smoking deal.
Shipped. 20 if you want just the one big bag. The 4 are small sample size. But you get to try it before you maybe go and buy a little bit more of your favorite one. And these,
David, where do I learn about this?
MoonGoat.com. Glad you asked.
Wonderful.
It'll be on the splash page. There'll be a little bag of coffee sitting in a roasting tray that you can click on and subscribe. Never run out of good coffee, but you may run out of good things to say looking at me and talking to Greg and I. But we're going to taste some coffees. We got Mexico Fresh Crop Arrival. That's an awesome time of year for wash coffees. We got a couple really cool Costa Rica coffees, and then we finally have a Nicaragua Geisha. We're hooking you guys up. It's a Gold Series coffee, but we put a Gold Series label on the big bag if you do the 4 subscribed coffees in the mail. So without further ado, we should taste some coffee and tell you guys what you should expect for MoonGoat in the Mail subscription. So we've got first sip of a Mexico. It's a wash Mexico, very classic. It's light, but it's very well balanced. We put on the whiteboard behind us that way that you can't read walnut, persimmon, and we said baker's chocolate at first, but it definitely mellows out into a really nice milky chocolate, super creamy body. That's the other thing I would say. Creamy body, lightness about it, very light roasted, but very well balanced, and some tasting notes you usually get in darker roasted coffees that this one has, and not dark roasted.
Yeah, very pleasant. Love it.
And it's a great espresso. Probably be one of our single origin espresso offerings from time to time.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You never know where you might see this coffee next. This is the first arrival, second roast. First roast was a dial-in roast. We usually donate that first roast. Second roast, bang on, tastes like it. So, cool. First one. And your job, Greg, is to tell us what your favorite one is on the table.
Ooh, tricky. Okay.
So, yeah,
right.
That's his job.
Leave that for the end.
We decided on a mauve color just because it feels persimmon, bright, but not
walnut.
Yeah, walnutty.
Neutral. In the best way possible.
Yeah, it's a blank canvas. Second coffee, really excited about. We're calling Heirloom Honey. It's a Costa Rica coffee that is an Ethiopia heirloom coffee variety. Process is an anaerobic honey. And the tasting notes we have for this one are passion fruit and guava Danish. So we kind of went for the pog juice background.
Some honey drips here.
Yeah. It's really, this is probably our favorite coffee, I would say.
Yeah, this is a good one.
We tasted all the coffees yesterday. Spoiler alert, we already know what they taste like. But this coffee, I think, was the universal favorite on the table.
Easily. It's so fruit forward.
Yeah. And still really well balanced, like Costa Ricans are known for. They've got that like sweet roundness, and this is no exception to that. So really enjoy that coffee. It comes from Dota in Terrazú, from Tres Milagros. And this coffee in and of itself is really well grown, really well cared for. It's the Facusi family, right? The Facusi family. You know them well. But our friends at the Sanctuary Project, and this coffee we bought. The reason that it's included in the subscription is not a Gold Series coffee, is because it is not exactly one of those 90-point coffees that you can sometimes expect, but it's a very nice example of a work in progress, a coffee that will only get better over time, and really cool. And obviously, we do quite a bit of purchasing with the Sanctuary Project from Mexico and Costa Rica. You've had the Cherry Madness maybe from Costa Rica. And then this is another one from that same farm in Tres Milagros, Dota Terrazoo. So,
do you see this one eventually becoming a 90-point coffee?
Yeah, I think over time, for sure. It's got all the potential to do it. It's just a matter of like fine-tuning processes and growing and all that. So yeah, it's work in progress, but really good along the journey.
That's a contender.
Contender for number one.
Contender for sure.
So we'll move on to our third coffee of the day, which is from the same farm, same producer group, Dota Terrazoo, Tres Milagros. We're calling this one the Via Sarchi Mosto. It's all Via Sarchi variety, and it's the Mosto process, which means they pulp the fruit, they save that residual juice, and they ferment that pulped fruit or pulped seed, sans fruit, sans mucilage in that juice. They fortify with some yeast and ferment it. So this has got a really nice, deeply fruity coffee flavor. But the variety character is really prevalent in this. So you get some brightness. We call this one kiwi and red grape in terms of flavor. That Mosto is a great little anecdote that, I learned about from Edwin Norena, firstly in Colombia, who employs it. And I used his coffee in competition where he did a Mosto process on it. And it's starting to get used more and more. But this is a unique one. And again, it's not quite a Gold Series level coffee for us, but it's a great, solid, awesome coffee that will be at that, high level at some point.
Does that process add sweetness to the coffee?
Yeah, it can. It can add sweetness. But really, I think everything in terms of that processing is trying to add complexity more than sweetness. But sometimes it just makes it taste great and very classic. And this is probably more of an example of that, it's not really like giving you big sweetness or big complexity, but it's giving you just a really refined cup of coffee.
Good cup of Joe.
Good cup of Joe. Can't complain. From Costa Rica, Via Sarchi Mosto. If you want to try it, you got to try it. It's in the subscription. Last but not least, probably the finest cup we put on the table today is our Nicaragua Geisha. When I was bagging this coffee, I was noticing how big the seeds were. Super interesting. It's a natural process from Finca La Bastilla. They started 20 years ago in Nicaragua between Matagalpa and Jinotega in Nicaragua, and they were actually Rainforest Alliance certified on day one as a producer group. For us, some of these coffees actually were organic certified too. We don't really focus on organic certification too much because it doesn't really speak to the soil health and the biodynamic nature of farming that we want to promote. But Rainforest Alliance is actually better than organic in terms of a coffee farm. And so we really like supporting Ricardo and the team at Finca La Bastilla in their efforts to do it. So this is our 4th or 5th year actually carrying their coffee, and we try to buy more and more every year. And this is our first year, maybe our second year, but I think our first year getting their geisha lot. So super excited.
This one is amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
David, remind me, what does Rainforest Alliance mean exactly?
It's a certification like any other, but it really is focused on, are you using pesticides? Are you using fertilizer? Are you using shade trees? And are you intercropping? So those are the main tenets that affect coffee production that we really like to look at. Whereas organic, they may let you still use pesticides or fertilizers, just specific ones. And so this one is really more of a sign and seal that it is a truly good organic product, not the USDA organic certification, but what that hopes to achieve, I think, in a consumer's mind. So
it's overall just a better product process and product.
It's a more sustainable one for sure, right? Because better is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe one of these other coffees is better, but it's better for the earth, that's for sure. better for the earth, and it shows in the cup because this is also a really amazing cup of coffee. We put
that one.
blueberry and lemon zest, and I think it delivers on both those. It's definitely blue fruitiness, really nice.
The blueberry on the nose is like so strong.
Yeah. And this is a kind of coffee that will only be in the Gold Series in the shops, but if you're on the subscription, you get 4 bags, which you can sign up for 1 month and then cancel immediately.
I would love a full bag of that.
So spoiler alert, you can game the system and do that. I will co-sign it. Greg might be upset if you cancel your subscription after the first month, but
yeah, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. Give it 2 months.
Give it 2 months.
Give it 2 months. So which one's your favorite?
I wanted it to be the heirloom honey because it's not the Gold Series, it's the underdog, but it's hard. It's hard to.
Once we give something the Gold Series seal of approval, it's usually a pretty dang good cup of coffee.
So definitely the Gold Series, followed closely by the heirloom honey. I really like this one.
Yeah,
very tropical.
Really cool. Yeah.
And then kind of a toss-up between these two.
Yeah, agreed. It's great. It's a great lineup of coffee. So I think you get a nice mixture if you enjoy coffee with cream and sugar. These probably all take to it well besides the geisha, just fine. And then I think this one, even if you like light coffee with cream and sugar, it'll do the trick. So cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You get a wide variety. You got your fruity ones, your more roasty ones.
Totally.
What's your favorite?
I think I also like the Nicaragua geisha the most. Yeah. This is the one I'd want a cup of right now.
I might finish that cup right there.
Just
grounds and all.
Slurp up that cupping bowl. Well, cool. What else should the people know? I don't know. MoonGoat.com.
Yeah. Go to
MoonGoat.com. We opened a shop in Irvine today too. So if you want to, go get coffee in Irvine, you can.
Take your boat because it's flooding out there.
Yeah, it's raining. But us California kids are not used to it. Mm-hmm. But thank you for tuning in. If you stay till the end, we'll give you a coupon code WELCOME10 and you can get a discount. Spoiler alert, everybody gets that coupon code if you stay on the website for long enough. Perfect. And